Okay, our first task today, you will need the task card Equivalent Fractions Exploration, and you're going to need your fraction bar kits. And everybody should have gotten one of those in a gallon plastic bag, and it has pieces like this, okay? And each piece is labeled with a fraction. And remember, in the last video we talked about the numerator and the denominator and how they work together to help you find parts of a whole. So for the first activity, the equivalent fractions exploration, the first part, it asks you to give the largest piece in your fraction kit the value of 1 whole. So in your fraction kit, you should have had a piece that was equal to 1 whole. It's the longest or the biggest part in your fraction kit. Then it asks you to name the other size pieces in your kit in relation to the whole. So if you take a look, if we name each of the pieces, if we were to divide the whole into 2 parts, we want to divide it into 2 equal parts, then the value of each part would be 1/2 plus 1/2. And when we join them together, 2 halves make 1 whole. Okay? And you notice Caroline sorted her fraction pieces. She went ahead and sorted them into equal parts so that it would make it easier to build her fraction wall. So Caroline, if I wanted to divide the whole into 3 equal parts, then each part would have a value of
1/3.
1/3. So 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 is equal to 3/3, and 3/3 is equal to
1 whole.
1 whole. All right. Our next step would be to find the fourths. So 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 is equivalent to 4/4, and 4/4 equals 1 whole. And you would continue building your fraction wall, taking a look at and comparing how the relationship between the whole and the parts of the whole. And Caroline, what do you see or notice as we break our whole into more parts? What happens to each piece?
They get smaller.
Okay, so you have more smaller parts. So one of the things that we talk about in 4th grade especially is, even though the denominator, that number seems to get larger, that larger number in the denominator just means that you're dividing the whole into more equal pieces. So when you're dividing that whole into more equal pieces, each part gets smaller. So she's going to continue building the fraction wall, and you have that opportunity to do that as well. And you'll just want to take some time to take a look at your fraction wall, and do some comparing. Look at 1/10 and 1/5. What do you notice? What do you see? What patterns do you notice? What do you notice about the comparisons in size? And then as we move on down to our explorations in equivalent fractions, if you take a look at number 2, the task asks you how many different ways can you make 1/2 using pieces in your fraction kit of the same shape and size. And then they want you to draw and label the equivalent fractions you find. So let's pull 1/2 out of our fraction wall. And let's take a look at our fraction wall, and let's find some other ways to make 1/2 So it's just like building a whole number, except this time you're working with a fraction number. So another way to make 1/2, Caroline, is,
1/4.
is
Or 2/4.
2/4. That's right. So go ahead and take out 1/4 and 1/4. Let's build that 1/2 wall over there to the side. So we have a 1/2 as the whole, and then it takes, and remember we are dividing that whole into equal parts. So 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 2/4, and 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. And then she found that we would have how many sixths, Caroline?
3/6.
3/6. So 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 equals 3/6, and that is equivalent to 1/2. Nice job. When we look at task number 3, it asks you to order your data. So when you're ordering fractions, you're actually putting them in order. You can do them from the smallest fraction to the largest fraction, or you could do them from the largest fraction to the smallest, okay? So when you're ordering fractions, you can actually take a look at your 1/2. Caroline, keep that there for just a second. And if you wanted to order 1/6, 1/4, and 1/2 from largest to smallest, then what fraction would come first?
Largest to smallest would be 1/2. Then 1/4, and then 1/6.
Good job. Okay. And then you can practice that with other fractions from your wall. And then number 4 says, how many different ways can you make 1/3 using the pieces in your fraction kit of the same shape and size? And then you also want to explore 1/4. And then record your data. So you can use a piece of paper or your whiteboard and your dry erase marker. And you want to make some comparisons. If you have an opportunity, make a video of you doing your task card today and upload it to our Dojo classroom for Colts Corner Summer Virtual Camp. Have fun and good luck.